All right, Rajava the Ruler back with another one. And as you can tell by the title, we just gonna jump right into the part 2 of the relationship that ruined my life and sent me to prison for 10 years. So in the last video, I left off saying that he went inside and he was talking to whoever he talked to. I don't know who he was talking to. I don't have a name, so don't get in the comments asking me none of that because I don't know. So he went in and he came back out. So he got in the car. And he had a jacket on. It was like a very big camouflage jacket. Now, right now, I'm like 160, but before I went to prison, I was like 120. Like, I was itty bitty, and he's a bigger guy. So he gets back in, he has the jacket on. We end up going to a gas station, and he's like, I need you to go in there and get change for the toll. So I'm like, okay, I wanted to get me something to drink anyway. So I went in, and he gave me some money, so I got change for the toll. So when I came back out, he was in the passenger side. So I was like, I don't know why you're in the passenger seat because I'm not driving. So he's like, man, come on, like, get in the car, like, let's go, this, that, and third. So I'm like, no. I was like, I'm not driving. I was like, I am not driving. I told you when you made me come up here that I was not driving. And he was like, man, come on, just get in the car. And at that gas station, once again, I don't know if it was me being paranoid or if that's what was really happening. There was a K9 truck there, and there was an officer. He had on the the navy green, and it said K9 on the back, and he was standing at the newspaper stand, and he was looking at a newspaper at the gas station. So I know what's in the car, and he's like, man, come on, get in the car, this, that, and third. So I don't want to make a scene at this gas station, which I should have made a scene because they your drugs, and if you don't care about me making a scene at the gas station, I shouldn't have cared. But with that officer being there, I did not want to make a scene and draw any attention to what's going on. So I reluctantly, I got in the driver's side. I was so pissed because I did not want to drive. So I'm driving, and I ain't got no conversation for him. Like, I'm literally like driving, and he playing his music, trying to like laugh and talk and all of that. And it's like, I do not want to talk to you. Like, don't talk to me. So we driving, and we come back from Orlando, everything is smooth, and then we end up, as soon as I got back in the county that we're from, I'm from Highlands County. So as soon as we pull into Highlands County, Avon Park is the first city. So when I pull in, the officer gets behind me. Like, I see one at the light. So he gets behind me and he throws his light. So I turn off on the back road and I end up pulling over. And I'm thinking it's a regular traffic stop. First of all, it had to be a regular traffic stop. Like, at least that's what I was hoping. And then I went to thinking, I'm like, I ain't speeding because I know what's in the car. For one, I ain't speeding, I ain't swerving, I ain't doing nothing I ain't supposed to be doing. Now, my tint on my car was dark, and I did get pulled over. I almost got ticketed for it. But outside of the tent being dark, I'm like, I don't know what he could be pulling me over for. So I pull over, and I'm thinking it's a regular traffic stop. I told y'all about this in another video. And like, soon as I put the car in park and cut the car off, I seen cars come from everywhere. And we're on a back road, so there's like houses on this side, but it's like trees all on this side of the road. So there's like nothing here. And I'm talking about cars start coming from everywhere. I literally feel like trees was morphing into cars. And because there was Durangos, there was police cars, there was sheriff cars, there was unmarked cars, like the dog truck, everything just swarmed in. So when they swarmed in, I knew it was not a regular traffic stop. So I'm like, at this point, I'm not really worried because once again, this ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't got no drugs in this car. I ain't have no money to go buy no drugs. I ain't go drive. I don't know the people. I don't know none of this. So I feel like this don't have nothing to do with me. And still to this day, I feel like it does not have nothing to do with me. So, so they ended up like cars just coming from everywhere. And the first thing they do is they come. And I'm talking about big guns, honey. I don't know nothing about guns, but they had big guns. And they were just like in the back of the car, driver side, passenger side. They in the front of the hood. They all over. And they got their guns like locked in on us. So they're like, open the door, told my co-defendant to get out. They immediately put him in handcuffs. He was labeled a menace to society. So it's in his record that anytime they have to apprehend him, it's said that he has guns, drugs, like he'll, like, you know what I'm saying, run from the police, try to harm the police. Like, he's labeled as a menace to society. So anytime they arrest him or they're coming for him, they have to come for him like that. So thank God that happened way back in 2010 and not now, how I see people getting shot for nothing, because they could have shot up that entire car and probably been justified. Like, they could have got out of that in so many different loopholes. So thank God they weren't shooting people as much as they shooting people now back then. So they came and got him out the car. And after they got him out the car, I'm sitting there. I'm not worried still at this point. I'm not worried. Like, I'm a little nervous because the police here, and I'm not a fan of the police, but I'm not really worried because it ain't got nothing to do with me. So they come to the car where I'm at. So they like, step out the car, this, that, and third. Now, mind you, I didn't find out why I got pulled over until I received my discovery when I was in the county jail. They did not tell me. They did not come to my window and say, we pulled you over for XYZ. Even if they know you're committing a crime, even if they know drugs are involved, they still have to have a reason to pull you over. Like, somebody giving them a tip is not a cause unless they have a search warrant. Then they don't need a cause, but they ain't have none of that. So they asked me to get out the car. So I get out the car, and we're standing in front of the car. So the dog truck and everything, the K9 is already here. Now, if that's the K9 that I seen when we was in Orlando, probably not. I don't remember. I wasn't paying too much attention. It was too much happening all at one time. So they arrest him, and he's in handcuffs, but they have him standing like back towards one of the squad cars. He's not in the car yet. He's standing outside, and I guess they're like talking to him, asking him questions and stuff like that. But they're so far away, I can't hear what's going on, what the conversation is about. So I'm in front of the car, and then there's an officer like talking like he's my friend, and he's like, everything's gonna be okay. Like, where are you guys headed? And, like this, that, and the third. He's asking me questions, and I was like, listen, I don't know what's going on. I was like, it's too much happening right now. And I was like, I don't know. Like, everything he asked me, I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. This is just too much for me. I don't know. So they're walking the dog around the car, and I hear my co-defendant. Now, mind you, there's officers everywhere, and he's standing with an officer in handcuffs, and he's like screaming to me. He's like, hey, he was like, babe, you got your jacket? So like, listen, I don't want to talk to you. I'm trying to disassociate myself with you because this ain't got nothing to do with me. So don't, sir, why are you talking to me? Like, don't try to make it seem like this some type of Bonnie and Clyde, okay? So he's like screaming like, he was like, babe, you got your jacket? Like, you got your jacket? Now, mind you, he went inside with this big ass, okay, camouflage jacket. Now, some of the stuff was in the jacket and some of the stuff was in the car. And he's screaming like, babe, you got your jacket? First of all, I'm 120 pounds. You're probably like 240, 220 at the least. So that big ass extra large male jacket, it's definitely not mine. Like, there is not even a way that you can be like, oh, that's whose jacket is it? Like, there's no miscommunication in who this jacket belongs to, okay? Like, there's no miscommunication. But he kept saying like, babe, you got your jacket, babe, you got your jacket. And I was like not responding to him. And so they were asking me questions and stuff, and I'm still hitting them with I don't know. He should have been back there hitting them with I don't know. But apparently he was trying to, soften the blow for him. So they start walking the K9 dog around. I told y'all about this in the day I got arrested video. So they start walking the K9 around. And at this point, like, I'm not really paying attention. I've never really had too many interactions with the police. So I'm not expecting that I have to be on my P's and Q's. I'm not expecting that I need to watch everything, document everything. Like, I didn't know they played the games that they play. Now, I have people that get in my comments like, oh, well, you knew there was drugs in the car. Like, oh, you was breaking the law. Oh, this, that, and third. Like, yes to all of that. But at the end of the day, the police still have protocols that they have to follow. There's still lines that they have to color inside as an officer of the law, as a public servant. There's still things that they have to do to ensure that they are not violating your constitutional rights, regardless if there's a crime committed. That doesn't matter. You still have to color inside the lines. And I've never dealt with police, so I didn't know that they colored so far out the lines. So he was walking the dog around. He walked the dog around a few times. And then, like, it was either like the third or the fourth time when he got by the driver's side, he kneed the dog into the car. And, like, when I seen him do that, it was, like, weird. And, it, like, my brain couldn't register what was happening. Like, I'm like, did he, like, almost trip and hit the dog into the car? Like, did he stumble? Did he trip over something? Like, I ain't know what was going on until the dog made a noise because you assaulted him. I would have made a noise too. When the dog made the noise, he stopped and he was like, positive alert. So I was like, positive alert, you just need that dog into the car. So they ended up searching the car. They ended up finding the drugs, and they put me in handcuffs. And they put us in the car together. And as I told y'all in the other video, he was like trying to talk to me and stuff. And look, listen, I ain't no gangster. I ain't no queen pin. I ain't none of that. But I am black in America. And I do know that there are cameras and microphones in the back of a police car. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm not talking to you while we sitting in here. Like, we not having a conversation in here. If you need to communicate with me, you'll have to communicate another way. But back here in this car right here, where we got an officer driving us and we got that camera right there and that mic, no, we not talking here. So he started trying to like lean over to, it's a microphone. Like, you think that microphone ain't strong enough for a whisper? Like, bro, stop talking to me. So he started trying to talk, and I'm like, stop doing that. Like, they put us in this car together for a reason. Like, shut up. So we ended up going to the county jail. I got bonded out. He bonded me out. I sat in jail probably like 26 to 28 hours. Like, it was just a day. And he had the money. My mom had went and got the money wherever it was supposed to be at. And he ended up bonding me out the next day. But he was on a violation of probation. So a VOP, you can't just get out like that. Like, you don't bond out. In my county, I don't know how it is nowhere else, but in Highlands County, if you have a violation of probation, you don't get a bond. You have to deal with one of those charges. Like, they have to decide what they're going to do with that violation of probation outside of anything else before they give you a bond. So he had to sit in the county jail. When I got out, I didn't answer no phone calls. I didn't send no mail. I didn't read no mail. Like, I lost all forms of communication. Like, I did not want to talk to this man. I also, in the day I got arrested video, I told y'all about how the drug task force pulled me out the cell and tried to talk to me and get me to tell on him, and told me either we can let you go home with no charges, or you can help us. If you help us, then we can let you go home with no charges. It's like this never happened. But if you don't, we're going to put you on a ship and sink you with him. And I kind of lost faith in the justice system. Like, I really ain't have none, but I really lost it going through what I went through, because you have the power to let me go or not. Like, you shouldn't have the power to let me go or not to let me go. If I did something wrong, it shouldn't be no one way or the other. It should only be one way. Like, if I was guilty, it shouldn't have been a way that I could go home if I committed a crime. And if I did not commit a crime, it shouldn't have been a way I can go home or I can go to jail. Like, the fact that you had enough authority to dictate based off of if I did something for you, what you would do for me, like, that just doesn't sit right with me. It shouldn't be where you can manipulate a situation in your favor and my freedom's at stake. Like, I shouldn't have to help you do anything if you know, because they said in the room that they know I had nothing to do with it. They know it was not me. They're not there for me. They didn't even know who I was until they pulled over that car. They knew he was in the car, and that's why they pulled it over. They didn't know my name. They didn't know they never seen me a day in their life. They pulled that car over because they knew he was in the car. My name is nowhere in the discovery. It just shows, like, it says black female was driving when they pulled me over. So they're telling me, like, I know you didn't have anything to do with this, and I know it's not yours. We know whose the drugs is and all this stuff, and we'll let you go if you help us. If you know all of this, I shouldn't have had to lose my freedom. I should not have had to lose my freedom, but that's the way of the system. Like, you give them something, they'll help you out. You got money, you may go home. But if you don't have nothing to give them, if you don't have no money, you're going to prison. And it shouldn't be like that. If the system is here to protect us, to serve us, to make sure that people who commit crimes shouldn't be on the streets, like, if it's here for the better of society, you should not be able to manipulate it in your favor. And that's what they did. So I lost all respect for the way of the system. Like, I still respect the laws of the land, because of course I have to, but I lost faith in it. I lost respect in it. And I had no communication with my co-defendant after that. No calls, no texts, no nothing. Like, people would come and be like, oh, try to bring me the phone because he called. Like, anytime somebody brought up his name, like, I would just spaz out, like, don't talk to me about it and all that stuff like that. And I ended up, I was out for a while. I did not have a lawyer, because the only way he would do anything for me is if I was communicating with him. If I was talking to him, if I was like, come see him, if I was like answering the phone calls or writing him, stuff like that, then he would have got me a lawyer. But because I didn't have no communication with him, he did not do anything else for me after he bonded me out of jail. And I wasn't about to jump through hoops for you to get me a lawyer. So I did not have a lawyer. I didn't have no money. So I went to trial with a public defender. Having a public defender, I do not feel like that's why I lost my trial at all. I could have won my trial if I was my defender, but the cards shifted and not in my favor. And that is, how I met him. what happened the day we got arrested, and up until the time that I got sentenced. It's so much more in that story, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. But I had to give y'all something because I told y'all I did this interview with Say Cheese, and I can't do y'all like that. Like, I can't let Say Cheese platform hear the information before y'all hear it. Like, I couldn't do y'all like that. So that is it. If you have any questions, I'm sure there's still some holes in that story. Just let me know and I'll let y'all know.